Listen, we about to do a reaction to Pop the Balloon reunion, and it's mainly about this guy in like the Burberry. You know, it's funny because Burberry is like a baby shower brand. If you know, you know. But we about to watch them talk about single moms and things of that nature. Let's get into it.
So, Brian, you already
What's
know
up?
we're talking about you.
Right?
Let's go ahead and take a look at your journey on Pop the Balloon.
How many kids you got?
I got three.
You got three?
Yep.
How many baby daddies?
I have three.
You got three baby daddies.
Yes.
Okay. How many kids you have?
I have two.
How many baby daddies?
Two.
Two? Okay. So you didn't think after the first one that you wanted to marry the next one?
No.
No? How many
And
kids
your
you
preference.
have?
I have three.
You have
25,
three?
18, and 12.
Okay. How many baby daddies?
Two.
Two. Okay. So it's no disrespect towards that, right? But I just want you to understand when it comes to a man of top tier, right? We give you a few from one man. That's it. If you have multiple from a different man, that disqualifies yourself.
So it disqualifies a top tier woman from getting a top
That's
tier
exactly
man.
right. Why? Because there's billions of women on this planet.
All right, Brian. So you came out episode 15. I was like, Brian, what are some of your deal breakers? You said you don't have not one, not any. But as we saw, as you went down the line, you did have a deal breaker, and that was women that have multiple baby daddies.
Right?
So, what do you, is that something you came out knowing, or?
Of course I came out knowing, but for that right person, I will compromise for that, right? And I think every man will compromise for that if they come in with multiple kids for multiple different men, right? Okay. We gotta like them like that. That was my deal breaker, but like I said on the show, then I would extend grace for somebody that I'm feeling like that. So that's what that was.
Okay. So then, why is that something you didn't say like up front when I was like, oh, what's your deal breaker?
Because after listening to the women, I don't know which one I was gonna like. I didn't, as far as their responses, who I was gonna attract or pull energy from. So I didn't really know who I was gonna feel until I heard what they had to say. So that's that grace part right there, right? So even if they had multiple different kids from multiple different men, if I still like them like that, I would accept that, like real men do.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of saying like you didn't want to say that just in case one of them popped on you?
All of them would have popped if I said that.
He was testing the waters.
Yeah.
But he was giving nobody grace. Why are you saying
Well,
grace?
I mean,
you were giving no grace.
even
You
though that
weren't sure.
we talked, me and this guy earlier, we was joking around. He said nothing wrong. Like it devalues the woman when you go through multiple men and have multiple baby daddies. We don't
I
want to
never-
deal with that. If you got 3 kids and 3 baby daddies, it's like, damn, your decision making skills are horrible.
Y'all forget
Okay.
that y'all are the ones who
And
play
then,
right there.
And then y'all forget that I'm 41 years old. I got a 25-year-old child. So you're basing your perception of me from 25 years ago.
Come on.
I'm not that person I'm not that kid that I was 25 years ago.
Speak on
And I'm
it.
not that young adult that I was 25 years ago. I've grown from that. I've healed from that. I now make better choices, better decisions.
Right.
And I live more of a healthy love life,
Right.
than I did then. So you're gonna tell me, oh, well, you got this many kids, I can't date you.
No,
Oh,
And this is where I stopped it when I was watching somebody else react to it because this just, I'm not going to lie, it triggered me to some extent. So we're going to address a few things. The first thing we're going to address is the first woman. The first woman says something along the lines of, well, y'all act like y'all ain't the ones who impregnated us. Listen, I didn't impregnate you. Let's just start there. The woman who said that fails to realize that you as a woman have one baby dad, and that baby dad is not the guy you were talking to. And we don't care about his decision making because we are not pursuing a relationship with your fucking baby dad. We don't give a fuck about your baby dad. So let's just get that out the way. Like, I could go deeper on that, but let's get to the meat and potatoes, the actual thing that made me react to this video. How the fuck do you heal from having a child? I've healed over 24 years or 25 years and I have a healthy. We don't care about that. This is the thing. She's saying, you judging me from a decision that I made 25 years ago. Yes, a permanent decision that if I get with you, I am going to have to deal with the ecosystem that you have created from that permanent decision. Your kid may be 25, but at the end of the day, if your kid needs a place to stay, if you're a good mom, you're going to let your kid back into your house. You're going to let your kid back into your house. The other thing is, that kid is grown. The kid might not respect me. Regardless, and let's not even say kid. We could say child, because this is an adult at this point, and it's still her child, regardless if it is an adult. There are videos of white and black men getting beat on by stepchildren. I even know some guys who have beat their stepdads. Now, you may say that's a little bit extreme, and that's not extremely common and things like that. But at the end of the day, this is a grown man that I'm going to have to deal with that's going to impact our relationship at some capacity. If this cat catch pneumonia, I got to go to the hospital with you to check on this motherfucker who I don't even know. Like, this is a whole nother grown man at this point. He's 25. We got to go check on this fella. And I could keep going on about that. I got a million videos about the perils of it. Like, matter of fact, I'm going to put a video on the screen if you really want like my full perspective about the baby mom ecosystem and the multiverse of baby dads and baby moms. You could go click that video, man. I may leave it in the description or something like that, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of things and a lot of variables that a man has to anticipate when it comes to dealing with a single mom. But listen, the other thing you got to deal with is the baby dad and the multiple baby dads and stuff like that. And we don't know how that's about to go. So even then, your situation is unique because you're in your 40s and your son is 25. There's most of the chicks you're going to meet, their kids is going to be younger. And I'm talking about, under 18 for most chicks. So it depends on the age bracket you're in. And I'm not going to lie, the older you get, the worse it gets. Because again, these guys that I'm talking about that beat their stepdads and stuff like that, most of them is teenagers. Most of them in their early 20s and stuff like that. Don't let you be, in your 40s and you got a dude that's pushing 30 want to press up on you because his mom had him when she was 12 or some shit. And you want to press you because you're dating his mom. Like, nasty, but we gonna continue. But the whole point, it's a permanent decision. They don't realize that it's a permanent decision that affects their life forever, and also is gonna affect whoever comes into your life. It's like, how do you not realize that?
But that happened 25 years
It's
ago.
not the number of
At what
kids.
point are you going to give grace? Like, at how long are you going to, I don't want to use the word punish, for lack of better words, a woman for her past?
It's
Like,
not
Brian came out and said, I don't judge a woman from their past.
And then
We all
judged.
make mistakes. And then he basically just flat out judged.
That's the gentleman's preference. We're not judging you for how many kids. It's
Yeah.
how many baby fathers you got. If you
Okay.
get with a guy, and I'm 40 years old per
Yeah.
se, and I have 8 kids by 6 different women,
Yeah.
that says something.
And then everybody's situation is different.
That
Like,
part.
4
we all
kids
have
and
different
4 baby
circles.
daddies?
But that's not
3
what
kids
it
and 3
was.
baby
I have
daddies?
my children. I have by 2 different men, and I was in a 12-year relationship that was abusive. I escaped that by God's grace. I give thanks every day. And so when I moved on to the next relationship, I'm just looking for something better than what I had. And just because it was better doesn't mean it was for me. So when I realized this isn't for me, should I marry this man just because society is going to look at me like I'm a failure as a mother or as a woman? Or no, should I keep going and look for what is really for me?
Now, this is the thing. We could sit here and we could discuss, what decision you should have made, but you said you want to go out here and see what's for you. You have actually went out and now you are seeing what is for you, and you don't like it, and you're trying to cop please, like people should be more understanding, X, Y, Z. But this is the thing. Women can't accept how the game works. We got all this like money talking. You know how I feel about the whole money thing. But it's broke dudes who don't got no game, who don't got no sex appeal or nothing like that. And these dudes don't be on the internet like, oh man, chicks should love, fat guys with no hair and, no grooming and, XYZ with no job, and Cheeto dust fingers. Like, they should love guys like me. That's not what dudes do for the most part. What dudes do is accept where they're at, and they do one of a few things. They either, sulk, or they try to get better. Either resentment builds, or we try to get better. Like, I'm not going to go down the whole spectrum, but that's not what happens for women. What happens is they just go through the world and they just get what they get, and they feel like they deserve better regardless. They feel like they deserve the cream of the crop, and they'll feel like they settling for a dude that is actually better than them. But let's continue.
I'm not going to
having
say
kids
that
by
I've
this
made
man?
all the best decisions as a young adult. I never said I made the best decisions.
And that's
but,
what we're referring to, the
Yeah.
decision-making skills.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's now, that's in the past. So you're not gonna meet a woman and she tell you she stole a candy bar at 14 years old. Oh no, I can't do that. I don't do thieves.
She's always a thief.
Yeah.
Well, technically, yeah. Yeah, if a chick told me that she did something heinous in her past, I'm going to take note of that. And I'm going to associate that with, okay, that's something she's capable of. Because even if she tells me she's changed or whatever, you still did that. And this is the thing. And I give this analogy like a lot of the time. Like, let's say that a guy tells me, yo, yeah, I killed like 8 people. Well, what did you kill them for, man? I didn't even know these people. I just felt like killing. You think that I'm going to like associate myself with this guy? You think I'm going to continue to be around this guy? Because I could be next. Let's make it even worse. Let's say he killed his friends. And he trying to build a friendship with me. Like, why would I do that? And even with dudes, that's something that I've always done. I've always looked at the things that they do when it comes to other people in other situations. And I use that to evaluate who they are, because this is the thing. What I found out, and what somebody also told me at some point, is that just 2 things. Just because I have morals and I have certain things that I abide by, that doesn't mean that everybody shares the same sentiments or feels the same way, even though we dealing with each other and we cool. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is the capability. If somebody is capable of doing this in the past, they're capable of doing it in the future. If you were somebody who used to beat people up and you have had 58 fights, but now you are more peaceful, you are more XYZ, that's all cool. Like, you have more restraint, that's all cool. If you get pushed to a certain point, you are completely able to go back and be that ass whooper that you used to be, versus somebody who ain't ever whooped no ass. This is new. He's somebody who has never whooped no ass. It's going to be way harder for them to get to a place where they could whoop some ass or even be efficient at whooping ass if a situation came about. So if we go back and she's talking about you stole a candy bar when you're 14, that's a cool analogy, and I get it, and I get, okay, yeah, some people did some dumb stuff in the past. Let me tell you something. I've never stole from a store, and I've never stole from a person, period, point blank. So I'm not no shoplifter, and that's not something that I had to grow out of. Guess what? I know a lot of criminals and shit like that. I know a lot. I know people who used to snatch bags on Halloween and shit like that. They fucking shooters now. So what do we, so you just think that this means nothing. You think that, what you was doing at 14 means nothing. I just say this. It might not mean much today, but it means more than you think.
She was a kid. She made a mistake. She ate that, and the candy bar is gone. So in my situation, I feel like I ate that. I ate that relationship that I went through. I ate being a young teenage parent. I ate it. Like the young kids say, you ate. I feel like I ate. I've grown from that. I'm not that person that I was.
The relationship
so why?
is awesome, but the key, you're bearing the man's children.
All right. So, Janae, when you were having, your conversation with Brian during that segment, what was going through your mind when he's asking you all these questions? Like, okay, how many baby daddies? How many kids? What was your thought process? Like, if you want to walk us through that.
I'm true to my core. I'm not ashamed of my past. I'm not ashamed of my 3 kids. And if I wouldn't have the 3 baby daddies, I wouldn't have my 3 amazing kids. I don't allow him and his judgment to define me as a woman or where I stand on today. It's his preference. He deserves a queen of whatever that looks like for Brian. But for me, you have to accept me as a whole with a 4 unit. So it's either, are you even equipped to hold down this fort?
Now, she was moving and grooving, and I was with her until she said, do you even have what it takes to hold down this fort? I would love to know exactly what that entails, and I hope somebody asks that question, because the question I want to know is, you had 3 kids by 3 different guys. Were they able to hold down the fort? And that's a yes or no question. If they were able to hold down the fort, or if they were equipped, why did the relationships end? Why did the relationships end if they were equipped to hold down the fort? And if they weren't equipped to hold down the fort, why the fuck did you have kids with them? And this is exactly the whole thing about the bad decision making. It sound like what they saying will sound good to a simp. It'll sound good to a woman. But you can't come out and then start talking about how high your standards is and what you take and what a dude got to bring to the table and he got to hold down this fort when you have given babies to 3 guys that you cannot even sustain a long-term relationship with, or that you don't want to sustain a long-term relationship with. You are not the fucking prize. It's more about if you can hold down the fort. But this is the thing. The way that America works and the way that our society works, we over-pedestalize women. And I get it. I got videos on how men over-pedestalize sex. Like, just around the world, especially in America. Like, just hypersexual, all weight, like just everything that men do out here is for coochie. Like, it's just crazy. So I get why the pedestalization is so high. But what actually needs to be going on is you need to be like, yo, I actually should get a better guy because I'm going to enhance his life so much. There's so much I bring to the table. I am so peaceful. Like the guy that I'm with, chicks should be selling themselves. They should be giving sales pitches. They should be like like a chick like that. She should be like, bro, you ain't ever going to have to, cook nothing or wonder what you're going to eat. You ain't ever going to have to worry about no arguments over nothing. You going to come like, it should be that. It should be that. It should be a sales pitch. And I'm not saying that she got to pitch herself just to the world or to dudes that she don't like. But when it come down to it, if she gonna talk that, I know I'm worth it. And then you lay out why you worth it and not no bullshit like, oh, cause I bring understanding and perseverance and I make 6 figures and all this shit that we don't care about. But anyways, let's get back to the vid, man.
You can't judge me. I didn't take anything personally. I talked to Brian afterwards. I said, I don't take anything personal. I'm not mad at you. It is what it is.
It's a
my
preference.
person is my person. You know what I'm saying? But like, people don't know how to live in reality. They want to live into society, and it's fake to me. I'm not with it.
Okay. And then think Shayna, you wanted to say
So
something.
one thing I do want to say, which I said to you earlier, we all have our preference, which is fine. You might like them tall, you might like them short, you might like them with the kids. But I think it was just your delivery that really was kind of tough to watch. So that's all I had to share. We kind of chatted about it before. You know, everyone's entitled to what they like, but it's just the way you were speaking to the ladies, which was kind of harsh.
So speaking on that, Brian, do you feel like you could have delivered your message in a different way?
I think I wanted to deliver it the way I did, right?
Okay.
Because if I'm coming on some softness, you're not gonna really grasp what I'm telling you,
That's not.
right? And the thing about accountability is you want me to deliver it the way you want to hear it. Nah, the truth hurts. The truth hurts. You got to be able to embrace that. We as men, we embrace accountability. And women have to do the same exact
Women
thing
do
and not get
embrace
angry
accountability. I'm not
and
angry.
feel like men
I'm
are
not-
aggressive.
And that's how you know these chicks just be talking because they got lips in a voice box. She said women do embrace accountability. For the majority of women around the planet, that is a lie. That is a lie. Women have a natural aversion to accountability, and we see it everywhere, every day. To say this is, number one, disingenuous, but it shows one of three things. Either, number one, you can't look outside yourself because we'll just pretend that she's a woman that takes accountability and stuff like that. And that's where she's coming from and stuff like that. So that's one thing it could show. It could also show that she has a gross misunderstanding or lack of understanding about women. But the other thing it could show is that she is just fucking talking. She don't know what she's talking about. She just want to talk because she got a microphone. That's it. She just because she want to disagree, she's just gonna say anything. That's what it could show. But let's see how this unfolds.
Aggressive
I'm not being
and feel like men are aggressive
You are being
when they're delivering what they're trying to say. Like, no, I wasn't disrespectful on the show, right? And maybe I could have delivered it a little bit softer, but
And
that's
then
not
James,
the route that I
you wanted to
chose.
say something?
Brother, the way you've
Hold
been
on
talking.
one second. James is going to go.
I wanted to say something about that. I understand both sides. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I don't care if a female has a starting lineup. You know what I mean? Like, I've dated girls that have multiple kids, you know, and I think that men think one of two ways. One is like, okay, you made horrible decisions. And then the other downfall could be, you know, these are extra mouths to feed or bills, you know. And for me, I love kids.
I know you caught that reaction. So it's real simple, man. You messing with one of those, you better be fully prepared to take financial responsibility for everything, including them kids. But, you know, she's still not going to do what you say. The kid's still not going to do what you say, all that stuff. You better be ready for that. We going to continue.
You know, like, I'm a kids person, so I don't mind dating a woman that has kids. So that's all I wanted to say is like.
Can I say something? Brian, I don't think your delivery was 100% wrong, but there is a difference between you as a type of man and there's another type of man. There's two different types of men. It's your preference, and it's a man that knows that he comes into this world to be a leader, protector, provider, who also knows that you're going to take care of a family as a whole. It doesn't matter if they're your kids or it takes a village to raise these kids. I didn't take any judgment, but if you prefer a woman with one kid or you want some more with more kids, that's on
That's
you.
fine.
You're just not my person, and I'm not mad at you. And I'm not even mad at the world. And I don't give a fuck about anybody. If we can keep it G. You know, I take care of my kids. They're well taken care of. I'm an independent woman. And I deserve a strong man who's ready to take care of a household. Not saying that that's not you or no other man in this world. Everybody got their own opinion. And I respect you 100%. It is what it is.
And let me, hold on, wait, hold on. And I respect that, I appreciate that, right? It's gonna be a special type of man that's gonna come in and take care of you and your unit. That's gonna take care of you and your unit, right? Because most men wanna start their own family, all right? You know what I'm saying? So why would we come in and be a stepdad when we know if you have 3 kids, then I'm gonna be the 4th? you're gonna look at me like the fourth, even if I'm taking care of the house.
No,
right?
you're
Because they're
thinking
not
at it
mine.
different.
Because you're not a baby daddy or a husband.
Thank
Like,
you.
you're not going to be a
You're
baby
the head
daddy.
of household. It's a difference.
I understand that, but I'm not their real father, right? So I'm
But
not their
that's-
biological father, right? So, and things come with that, right? It comes with, you may feel like, I'm not raising your sons right.
Or you can't.
I'm going
whoop
to
'em.
dead this right now. I had a baby daddy that told me in front of my child, I am not his daddy. I don't need a nigga like that. And I said nigga.
You don't want one.
I need a man who knows who's going to come into a whole house. He's going to take mine as his. He's going to take me as his partner. It's one, honey. When you find a wife, you find a good thing. I'm not living into society or social media. This show, and I appreciate you guys, because this is real life. You show me the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say too much more, but that
If you guys were to get together, hypothetically speaking,
Who?
yeah, I'm just hypothetically
Hypothetically.
speaking.
Hypothetically, you and Brian.
You
Me
and
and
Brian. If you and Brian were to get together, hypothetically speaking, can he put his hands on your children?
What? Put his hands on my
As far
children.
That's a real
yes,
question.
Yeah,
yes.
let's word that a
Can
little.
he? Well, we know what we're talking about. I mean, Brian, you understood what I was saying, correct?
Correct.
If your kids is acting up,
Yeah.
can he whoop your kids?
If
Like he
they
would whoop
need
his
it.
own son?
If they need it.
Uh,
I mean, let's
You
be
just have
real.
to be. You just
This
have
ain't
to
about
be,
that, but let's
unrealistic.
be
If
real.
you're gonna whoop somebody else's kids, you just got to be ready for that repercussion.
The afterward.
Exactly. What
You
comes
feel me?
after that? Because as a father, nobody's gonna whoop my kids.
Exactly.
But if
barely whoop
I
my
am the
kids.
step parent of somebody else's kids, I'm a whoop them.
But you're not
and
gonna
I
whoop 'em for
understand
nothing.
that's
can't whoop
double.
your kids, but
no,
you can whoop
because
ways to discipline
I'm ready
kids
to fight
besides
for mine.
whooping them.
Thank
I'm
you.
ready
I
to
got a
fight for
5-year-old.
mine.
My
So
son has never had a whooping.
listen, I'm ready to fight
Ever.
for mine, so I'm going to check you on that. And if dude wanted to check me on that, he has that
Yes.
right. And that's all I'm saying.
And,
is
no,
you
and
gotta-
those are the issues that
It's the
we
way to
deal.
do
And
it.
those are the issues that we deal with being a step parent. Like, and
Those
another
are the
thing that I want to
insecurities.
address is that, like Brian, I've been hearing you talk since we've been here all day. Like your demeanor hasn't changed. So I want to say, like, I don't think that you were aggressive at all. I think that you were being you, and I appreciate that
Exactly.
authenticity that
Exactly.
you have been bringing.
Now we're gonna stop there. When it comes to, this situation, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier in the video, and I've talked about it in other videos, and I've never even, I've never heard this side as far as, the whooping and what come with that. And I've never heard a dude say until today, right now, the dude with the purple on, which I thought he was just like sent man 5,000, but it's just, he said, I'm gonna whoop the kid if he need a whooping. And I'm going to deal with what comes after that. I'm going to deal with the baby dad trying to check me. And I know if somebody try to whoop mine, I'm going to check him. Like, that's ridiculous. Who wants to deal with that? Who wants to deal with that? I say all the time, because, like, if you don't watch the channel, you don't know that I value family very much. I value a family unit. The dad is an enforcer. He is an enforcer of the household. That's what be missing from these single mom households to produce all these criminals that be in the penitentiary and stuff like that. Go look at the statistics. I'm not just talking. So that's one of the things that makes this a very difficult and even somewhat impossible situation in some cases, because I know cases where the dad was on a complete leash. The mom would not let him whoop the kids. And we don't even got to talk about the baby dad because the mom is not letting that happen at all. You heard the chick fucking proud. I don't think a 5-year-old should be getting whooped, honestly. I don't got kids, but I don't think that, like, the type of whoopings I got, like, shouldn't be given to a 5-year-old. Not gonna lie. But I could just tell from the braggadociousness that she had, she's never gonna whoop that kid. No matter what is going on, no matter what what type of discipline is necessary. She took pride and not having to whoop that kid or not whooping that kid. So I remember being in school in 5th grade when I was still getting whoopings in 5th grade and shit. I remember kids bragging about how they either never got whooped or how they wasn't getting whoopings no more. I remember kids bragging about that. And let me tell you, most of them motherfuckers was some bad motherfuckers. And right now, I'm in my 30s. Some of them is dead. Some of them was in the streets. Some of them wild whores. Some of them is cool. I'm not about to say that all of them was like, whatever. But I remember the people who was saying that. And I remember, or I know where they ended up. But let's get back to the business. So when it comes to this situation, the issue is that no man really wants to deal with that. And this is the other thing that is funny to me, because one thing you have to understand, and I need you to really let this sink in when it comes down to it. Men, we have the burden of performance. We have to do all types of stuff to get a woman, to keep a woman, et cetera, et cetera. We got to pass all types of tests. We got to be the man at all times. We got to lead. We got to go down and check the noise that came from, downstairs and stuff like that in the middle of the night. Oh, she want to pop off at the motherfucking Cheesecake Factory to another dude. We got to step in and mediate the situation and possibly even catch the fade. So we got to do all types of stuff. We got to pay all the bills. We got to do all types of stuff, right? What you have to understand is that these women, especially like even on a deeper level, they have no empathy for you or any man at all. The majority of these women have no empathy for you at all. Now, you may ask, why am I saying that? These guys is talking about a situation where you could have a potential confrontation with one of the baby dads for being the enforcer in the house that you need to be with one of his kids. And I've told stories on here. It could get deadly. It could get deadly. What did the woman say? She said it in a very condescending way. That's your insecurity. Let me replay that real quick.
Got a
Fight for
5-year-old.
mine,
My
so-
son has never had a whooping.
Listen, I'm ready to fight
Ever.
for mine, so I'm going to check you on that. And if dude wanted to check me on that, he has that
Yes.
right. And that's all I'm saying.
And,
is you
and those
gotta-
are the issues
It's
that
the
we
way to
deal.
do
And
it.
those are the issues that we deal with being a step parent. Like, and
Those
another
are the
thing that I want to
insecurities.
address is that
He called it an issue. It's a legit issue. She called the issue an insecurity. She called the issue an insecurity. She does not care that this man, that she wants to be in her life, that she wants to pay all the bills, that she wants to, because you see the face that she made when it came to the kids being bills and stuff like that. She don't like a man that even got to think about that. She like a man that just comes in and takes charge and pays for everything, the water world shit and the water bill. She want a guy like that. But when it comes to him doing all this stuff, he also has to be able, he has to be very confident that he could beat the shit out of all three of her baby dads, possibly at once. Possibly at once. He's got to be very confident that when it comes to any altercation with the baby dads, that he could whoop their ass. He shouldn't even be worried about, he shouldn't even be cautious about it, because if you cautious about it, if you think it's a situation that you got to tread lightly or anything like that, you're insecure. You're not a smart man. You're not a cautious man. You're an insecure man. You're an insecure man for even considering this to be a dangerous situation as far as whooping her kids and having to deal with the baby dad. You are insecure because you are a bitch to her. You're a bitch. You're not ready to squabble because my kids is acting up and I let you discipline them and the baby dad want to come and check. You're a bitch to her. So at the end of the day, the lack of empathy and understanding that this shows a complete lack of empathy and understanding for a man's position. So of course, she's not going to have a realistic perspective on why, even if it's told to her and given to her, on why a guy doesn't want to come into that situation. I mean, you see it being told to her right now. Not even for a millisecond could she put herself in another man's shoes and see why this is an unnecessary detriment. That right there, like, just because she said a lie, but the fact that she can't even like look at that and say you have a point. She says it's an insecurity, not an issue of insecurity. She has no empathy and no understanding for a guy, for any man that is pursuing any baby mom, nonetheless guys that are pursuing her. So that is where the disconnect is, and that is why it's pointless to even be in this type of situation as far as being a stepdad. I say it all the time, that the best situation, and I don't care how it sounds, if you're going to be with a single mom, is if the stepdad is, or if the biological dad is dead. Because that's somebody you absolutely don't have to deal with at that point. But listen, this was a long one. Let me know your thoughts. I may react to more of this video because, I got the whole thing. So, let me know your thoughts. I'm gone.